Hi, this is Nasia from Les Maison Partners.
This is Kristen from Liaison Partners.
So we're coming to you today because we want to talk to you a little bit about some things you may have heard and in the news, out in the world, and you may have heard a little bit about a NAR, National Association of Realtors, settlement or lawsuit, and you may have only heard that things are supposed to change about how you can buy and sell houses currently in the real estate industry. And we wanted to give you the facts about the NAR settlement and also tell you what that means for you as a buyer in the process.
Exactly. So for us, not a lot has changed with Les Maison Partners and how we do business. There's just been kind of one big change, for us. So let's get to it. So what does this settlement mean for you? The very first thing, and again, this hasn't changed for us, but is a change for a lot of people. You must have a buyer brokerage agreement signed before showing.
And so what does that mean? So a buyer brokerage agreement is an agreement between you as a buyer and what the brokerage and we as agents are going to do and what our responsibilities are to you and what you are doing as how we are operating as your exclusive agent, and then also what that means for you and your responsibilities as our client. And so part of that is we need to have some sort of understanding between the client and us as your agent saying, yes, we are going to exclusively represent you, and we are going to need that in hand before we go to see homes Now, before there were some people who did not have buyer brokerage agreements in place before they go to showings. This, I think, will help make things a little bit more seamless and a little bit smoother. Everybody knows kind of where they are and what they're on the same page. I think the thing that we have to keep in mind is we did this as a Les Maison Partners. We've always done this, that we ask our clients to sign this exclusive buyer brokerage agreement so we can represent you as our agents, because we want to make sure that we're on the same page. And then we also do this where we have a buyer consultation as well. And part of the buyer consultation is not only to address the process and to make sure that you understand the process of buying a home, but we also want to make sure that all of the requirements are there, that you have a very good understanding of what you can expect during the process. And you can also have an understanding about what we bring to the process and the benefits of using a realtor.
Right. So basically, before you do sign this agreement, make sure that what you negotiated with your agent is reflected in the agreement. And that you have a clear understanding of what the services the agent and the brokerage will be providing to you. If you have any financial obligations, and what services you will receive and how much you are being charged for those services. We want to make sure those are very, very clear. Some other components of that, you have to make the amount of the compensation cannot be open-ended on the buyer's brokerage agreement. It can't be like, oh, whatever the seller is providing, or
10 bushels of apples.
Yeah, you have to give an exact specific number or percentage on the agreement. Also, any other compensation above what was presented in the buyer brokerage agreement has to be approved by you, the buyer. So we can't, have you, go to a thing we've agreed for, for a certain amount in your buyer brokerage agreement, and then someone's giving us a bonus. That has to be agreed upon and approved by you as well. Yeah. So if it's coming from another source, that's not you. And there has to be like a declaration that the broker's fees rather, are negotiable. So that's all part of it. So for me, the big thing is that, and it's a good thing, is it's all about transparency. Everybody knows what's going on from the very beginning, and there are no surprises at the end. So for me, it's all good. And for buyers, this is a great thing too.
Yes. And it also, and I know that some people like to be very speedy and efficient and they really want to see a home right away. This really helps us and you to understand as a buyer, okay, yes, what does that showing that home mean? What can we bring to the real estate transaction? And it gives you a chance to get to know us as well.
Yeah.
So this is also something that you have to have in place. We're going to have, in Georgia, we have pre-showing agreements now where it is something that right before you
our brokerage
show the house,
requires it.
Our brokerage requires it, that we understand how much compensation will be provided, if any, by the seller. And so this helps us, that's on our side. Do know that the buyer brokerage agreement is not necessary for open houses. So if we already represent you and you go to an open house, then you just have to let them know that you are represented already and not to sign anything, and we can absolutely help you out.
Yeah, but this applies to in-person and also virtual showings.
Absolutely.
So, but not open houses. So again, this whole thing is about transparency. We don't want any surprises at the closing table. You should not hear, our services are free, that sort of thing. Buyers are responsible for their agents' compensation. However, the seller still is absolutely able to still contribute to that and lessen your burden. So these are all things that are negotiable that will be discussed during your buyer consultation with us. And before, so again, there have been some changes, think changes for the good. I think all of the, kind of inconvenient things that are part of this settlement don't really impact you as the buyer, but all except for you get a better understanding of what to expect in this process and more transparency, which is always a good thing.
And we'll always let you know if you do want to see a house and they have not provided compensation from the seller's part, or whether they did provide compensation. We will keep you in the know about that as well. And you can make all the decisions, as always, as you always had the ability to do. And we will, of course, be happy to work with you. And we look forward to having you on our team as a client. It's really nice here.
Yes, it's great over here. All right.
So we hope that helps. And of course, when we talk about your own specific needs, then during the buyer consultation, we will absolutely cover all of this and more.
Yes, absolutely.
So signing off for now. And we hope to talk to you soon.